What's going on, people? Happy Wednesday. We have
somebody owes
awesome
me a
show.
check there.
Well, hey, I don't owe you nothing. I gave you that.
That is true.
Awesome intro that you have. So we have an awesome show planned for you guys. We are going to be ending a little bit early today, as we are starting a little bit early. We do have some things to take care of today in the afternoon. So first, I want to get into introductions. We're going to go with Supersonic Station. Would you like to say good morning with your sick self?
Good morning, everybody. I'm sick as hell, but it's so good to be here, to be with all these wonderful people, all the wonderful people in chat. You guys all rock. It's always fun on a Wednesday morning. There's lots of topics to talk about. It's going to be really good.
Oh, it's definitely going to be a good show. And if you guys didn't notice, Supersonic Station gets sick more than anybody you will ever see on YouTube. You guys ever notice that? Like every month. All right. And then we have Creating Beyond Limits, who is always the quiet one here. That's when
I'm not always quiet. Well, hello, everyone. You made it to the best podcast on Wednesday morning. So you're in for a treat because it's going to be an amazing show. We have lots of awesome topics.
Yes,
so stay tuned.
Very good topics. And if he's not quiet, he's shooting F-bombs off everywhere. And then we have Mr. Boomstick XL. Would you like to say good morning?
Good morning, Xbox family. We have a huge lineup of stuff to talk about. I hope we get everything in because we have some hot button topics. Stay tuned. It's going to be a great show.
Yes, absolutely. And then we have, I'm choking over here. Hold on. The Xbox 448.
Did you forget my name?
No. I
hope not.
We have King Neutral Xbox 2987. What's going on, people? Guys, I just want to say I am newly inducted into the Destiny 2 #300 club with my Titan. I'm very excited.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, that's all he talks about, thinks about. He eats, sleeps, everything, shits.
I watch YouTube
Destiny
videos. She's like, "Are you watching another Destiny 2 video?" I'm like, "Yeah, they just dropped because the PC version dropped, and of course, people just data mine the hell out of that. Thank you, Master Files, and they kind of got a little insight into future content for the game. So yeah, I've been watching that and playing the game. So
beautiful.
Is it already on the disc like the first one?
Well, see, it's funny with the games on Windows, right? When they first came out, PC gamers were complaining, well, we're not getting the master files. What's with the master files and all that stuff? There's reasons why. With the master files, you can make bootleg copies of the game. You can also data mine and find extra content, stuff like that. And when Microsoft, and they were trying to kind of like be a safer place for the developers and the developers games, but unfortunately they rolled over and showed their neck to the PC gamers and like, okay, we'll just give you everything you want, no problem.
All right, and I am your host, Mel, and I just want to shout out everybody in the chat. Guys, thank you for coming. It's going to be a fun show. Good morning, UK Dazarus, Mod of the Year. Good morning, Eric the Red 06, Mr. Glass, what is up? Shansu, what's going on? Jago, I always forget how to say it.
Yes, it's Jago. Yes.
I'm so sorry, Jago. What is up, Invader Gaming? We have a lot of regulars here, but I see some new faces too. Good morning, Chris Hughes Sr. What is up, Fuzzy Belvedere? Farron H. Hello. Fastback, good morning. Tony Almeida, that's Tony's awesome. Always supporter of the show, and he always donates towards either giving something away or he'll hook us up with a game here and there. So it's really awesome, and we appreciate that. What is up, James 176? Graphic God in the house. Good morning, Cruise Missile. Good morning,
developers.
Don't start that. You're gonna get kicked out. All right, so we're gonna get started on the show today. Oh, and Alan Savage and Wrath Gods. Good morning, you guys. And so. Oh, what's up, Show Shady? I can't talk today, guys. If you haven't noticed, I'm like tripping over my own words. So I want to start with what you guys have been playing, and I want to hear about South Park.
Yeah, I got to go first. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut anybody off.
No. I was actually going to go right over to you in the first place because I tried to play. I thought there was an hour free demo, and I wasn't able to play. What's going on, Robert Crenshaw? So yeah, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well,
Wait, did you say there's an hour free demo?
Yeah,
thought there
I
was.
believe I read that also, that you could play for an hour. I'm not sure. The demo's got to be up on live.
It's not. I can't find it. It was
Maybe
like
when you go
can
to the
buy
game
it.
store. I saw this with Ninja Gaiden as well, because I want to play Ninja Gaiden really badly, right? It's $10 digital, but when I went to the store,
It's
it
free.
said install,
Yeah.
and then the option next to it was buy to own. So I clicked install. So I think I'm
Yeah, if you
gonna
have
be able
Game
to play
Pass,
for a
it's
while.
free.
I don't have Game Pass.
I don't have Game Pass.
Then you got it for free, because if you have Game Pass, Ninja Gaiden is one of the first ones up there for OG Xbox titles, which means they're going to be supporting, and that's dope.
That's cool.
All right.
But-
so wait, before we talk about a Game Pass or anything like that,
Yeah, let's go
can you
right
tell
into
me a
South
little
Park.
bit about what you've played? And obviously, I want to hear about South Park. Go.
Well, first of all, it's South Park. If you played the original, and you're gonna love it, because the combat is more tighter. It's set up with like tiles where you kind of move the character in the lit up tiles, and you take turns. It's like a classic RPG, but the humor in this game is some of the funniest. I mean, like, there has been at least 3 times since playing, and I put about at least 15 to 20 hours already into it, that I had to put the controller down, pause the game. I just could not stop laughing. And I'm going to say 4 words, and you go crazy with what I'm about to say. Lap dance mini game. That's it.
Awesome.
Lap dance mini game.
Sold.
Okay.
I'm sold.
Holy shit! When I tell you what transpires during that lap dance mini game, I could not play the game for 10 minutes. The laughter was uncontrollable.
You had to get Kleenexes.
I mean, listen.
Wow.
If you're a nice one. If you're a South Park fan, this game was well worth the wait, because what happened was last year when this was supposed to come out, last holiday, I had bought I bought it on live, and I never asked for the return because I knew I was going to get it. I sat on it, and man, it is so worth your time and money that I cannot recommend this game highly enough.
Sorry, I was looking at the chat. Do you think it's worth $60?
Absolutely.
No,
there is a replay value behind it. The theme of the last one was kind of like Dungeons and Dragons. This theme is all superheroes. So there's multiple outfits. I mean, I think I must have found about 40 different outfits already. And I'm constantly, you saw, I changed my picture on Twitter to like the Captain America one. It is absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
Awesome.
Did you say you beat it yet?
No. I'm
Somebody in the chat did.
I'm probably about halfway through, because I'm really taking my time. I'm looking for everything. I'm doing all the side missions, which there's really a ton to do. But the story is just so well written, and the humor is just so South Park that if you are even, somewhat of a fan, you're going to love this game. Like I said, I cannot highly recommend this game enough.
How does it compare to the Stick of Truth?
I think it's better. I think it's faster.
You get that game, right?
Yeah, I think when you bought this, you got the HD one for the Xbox One for free. Because I think
I've seen says on the game description that if you get it before January or December, like if you buy it before that month,
the Stick of
you
Truth
still
for free,
get Stick of Truth. Yeah.
Come on, I mean, how could 2 games for the price of 1? That's fantastic.
That is. I was looking on there this morning because I was trying to find the our free demo, and I was like, you get the other one with it. So so Shady said they say pussy mouth. Someone else says if you're easily offended, you probably don't want to play this game. I'm not easily offended. I don't care.
Listen, it's a game.
I'm one of the guys.
Yeah,
so.
it's a game. Let's and it is South Park, so they try
to offend people, so I'm not worried.
There are a few racial innuendos in there, some sexual innuendos out. The game is basically just short of a porn in some aspects. Really.
Funny porn.
Yes, like I said, I think that if you're not sure, watch some video, go to YouTube and watch some gameplay. I think if you played the first one and you liked it, you're gonna love this one. I think it's better, faster, stronger, longer, whatever. Go with whatever pun you want to add. But like I said, it is worth your money if you're a fan, and that's a good point. If you're easily offended, then there's probably an RPG somewhere else for you, to be honest.
Absolutely.
It's like going in like a whole season of South Park that you're never going to get if you watch the show.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. One of the best way to explain what the games are. It's like a whole season in one game.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, actually. And you won't be disappointed. Like I said, especially if you're a superhero fan, the theme is all superhero. It's a lot of callbacks to older shows that we watched as kids, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
I miss being a kid.
Like Stick of Truth is basically like a whole season of South Park based on fantasy and stuff like that. And now the new one's a whole season based on superheroes. And like the length of this game is meant to be double what Stick of Truth is.
Yeah, I've already put 20 hours.
I wanted to play Stick of Truth, man. The only thing that bugged me out is I don't want to go through the man abortion. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's blocked over here.
That was hilarious, though. I mean,
Xbox, like I would play this game, but I can't go through the man abortion, so it's a no go. John Sanchez in the chat says I haven't laughed so much with a game until I played this one. Definitely worth it.
Yep.
So that's good to hear. People are definitely enjoying the game. I would definitely give it a try. I think now I am much more relaxed in the sense of the way I think. So I would find that funny because I've always had a good sense of humor. But game wise, I like back when Stick of Truth came out, I probably wouldn't have played that. And you also got to remember I have kids in the house, so I tried to kind of keep, certain games out of the house, and I don't want them because they share a gamer tag with me, my twins. So if they go on my gamer tag and they see South Park and they play while I'm at work and Xbox is doing whatever Xbox do.
I watch them like a hawk, all right?
I know you do, but I'll probably like have a heart attack if I find out the kids play that. So that's pretty much the reason why I try to keep stuff like that away from them. What's up, Crab Gamer? What's up, Lethal Papa? What is up, Sim? I'm just, saying hi to some people who've filtered in. What's up, Joe Evans? What is up, Reprobate? Noble Addiction, good morning. So is there, I'm sorry for like cutting you off. Is there anything else you've played this week, or is that all?
No, actually, I've been playing some Crimson Skies for the OG Xbox, which I gotta say, man, it looks, okay, listen, the game is super old, but it looks pretty damn good. Ninja Gaiden Black, I have to go to storage to pick it up. I've seen video of it, and I cannot believe that game is that old. It looks like a current gen game.
Ninja Gaiden, but they were always ahead of their time. If you look at like the Dead or Alive series when it first went to Xbox,
it was
like
unbelievable.
When it was first made on the OG Xbox and stuff like that, like the graphics on it were second to none. Nobody even came close to what that development team was doing graphically when it came to games, and it's still holding up today. So.
Well, you know what? I just want to touch on what Boomstick said. He said it looks like a current gen game. So that means that Xbox is doing something right.
Yeah, they're magicians. There's no doubt about it. I mean, look, here's the thing. The mere fact that on whatever Xbox, whether you have the launch system, you have an S, you have somewhere in between, the mere fact that we as gamers could play literally 3 different generations of Xbox games on the one box underneath your TV today is incredible. And what arguably is the biggest crime going is that there has been no big stories from any of these media a-holes to praise Microsoft for getting this done. And that is super annoying.
Yeah. Not only that, with their ingenious way of emulation, you're seeing like the improvement. All these games are coming, right? Like we have the 13 OG Xbox games, and they look so much better now. First of all, the games back then, they had a lot more detail than what was shown because the hardware couldn't show it, right? But it was in the game. And now with the emulation, you're seeing a jump in pixels and stuff like that, overall resolution and stuff, which is it's strictly to how they emulated it, because they didn't go in and touch the code on any of these games. This is just the way it's emulated on the Xbox. They I believe they even patented it as a new way for emulation, and it's looking great, man. I'm surprised. I wasn't a big I was like, okay, OG Xbox games, yeah, whatever, not that big of a deal. But then when I saw Fusion Frenzy, like the comparison.
I love Fusion Frenzy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know you love that game. So yeah, it's on sale. It's on. We could buy it digital for $10 now.
$10,
so.
And you know what? That's the other thing. I'm glad you touched on that because I totally forgot. The price is right on these games. $10 for some of these games. Look, KOTOR, for instance. That's a 100-hour RPG. That's one of the best Star Wars games, period. Let alone RPGs, and it's $10.
$10 is a really great price. It really is.
Well, the comparison that they showed for the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, like that's night and day. Like the characters didn't even have faces really, and now with the resolution upgrade from the Xbox One, you can actually see more detail. And you're literally like, if anyone's watching that and says, "I literally can't see any difference," you're like, you're joking. They have a face now.
Like, well, yeah, YouTube videos.
My bad.
Yeah, YouTube videos. I could never. Like when Digital Foundry does stuff, I can never tell the difference between their comparisons, but I can definitely see it on this. It's crazy.
The thing that caught me was that the colors were deeper. There's a lot more definition. Like going around the character, you can see more of the shadow that makes it more of a 3D character. When it comes to like Fusion Frenzy and stuff like that, there's a lot more depth. Where the other one looked like there was kind of like a fog over it. I mean, to its credit, it's an OG Xbox game. Nobody thought it was going to look like this in terms of the improvement, the jump in what the game actually looks like running on the Xbox One. So that's what got me even more hyped. And then, with having Ninja Gaiden Black in the titles as like one of the first 13, I mean, I'm sold, man. I am so glad they did this.
And here's one other thing. Actually, Daz just brought this up. One of the most fantastic shooters that did not get played by most people is Black. Wow, what a game!
I had that game.
Yeah, it was. I beat it. It's fantastic. Guess what? I bought it. $10. You can't beat that.
No, absolutely not. Do you guys? Before we move on to the next person, what they've been playing, do you guys think that they're going to offer some type of deal for these OG Xbox games?
I see a lot of them are probably gonna get included in the Game Pass. I know one of them already is. But I say a few of them will get thrown in. And I hope, even though they said in the past that because of the whole licenses and these games are a lot older, there's not gonna be as many original Xbox games that are gonna go backwards compatible because it's just gonna be a lot harder for them to go back that far with license with the companies and stuff like that. So I just wonder how many more games will go backwards compatible for the OG Xbox, and I just can't wait to see like certain games that I grew up playing on the original Xbox getting added to it.
Nice.
So what if we get some on games with gold?
Yeah, probably. So what have you been playing, CBL?
Fortnite.
Addicted.
See, I can totally predict what CBL and Xbot have been playing. Boomstick and Supersonic, they're a little more mysterious. Supersonic plays like everything that's...
See, I'm like Crap Gamer. Shout out to him in the chat. We buy everything, so we play everything.
Yeah. Nice. And then you got CBL, who's addicted to Fortnite. I
would be jumping on Shadow of War and Cuphead. I'm just waiting. I'm just saving to get the money, and then second I get that, Fortnite is the great game that's holding me out. Just doing the battle royale whenever I can. But I was working the last few days, so I really only had a few games of it. I'm not that addicted. I think of it all the time.
Yeah, we know you're not addicted. You talk about it every episode. I tried to play this morning, and it said something about like the servers weren't working. I was like, "Fuck this! I'll watch TV instead."
Sure, that wasn't Friday the 13th.
Oh no, I promise you it wasn't. I won't even touch that game. You know what? Matter of fact, I need to uninstall it if I haven't already.
What's a Friday the 13th?
Is that a game?
Nope. So yeah, it's just that. That's all you've been playing. You're addicted. I think you need to get.
I played some Halo actually. Me and my friend were doing some doubles and some Team Slayer, big team battles. It was nice to jump back into it. I plan on going on Gears at some point because that got its last big update with 2 new maps and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to checking that out.
I'm saving that one for the Xbox One X. Like, there's a lot of games I'm saving just to play on that console.
Yeah, that's like the new update that the game got added the whole 4K textures for people if they want to download it now and be ready for the Xbox One X when it releases. But I won't be getting that at launch.
Me neither. It's okay. I'm there with you. Xbot will be getting it, and I'm taking his X1 Elite, and then we're going to trade in the S. I know it seems like
She wants the 1
weird.
terabyte hybrid
Yeah,
drive.
I do, because I haven't been able to buy my 8 terabyte. What I know who needs 8 terabytes? Me.
We do. We definitely do.
Yeah.
Well, I need like I have 4 terabytes or something like that, and that's full like a long time. I have to uninstall shit all the time now.
Yeah, I know, and I'm so tired of uninstalling stuff. It's so aggravating.
Well, she's got 1.5 terabytes right now on her system. She's gonna have 2 terabytes. Guys, she's only getting another 500 gigs. So like that's gonna be filled up really quickly, and then she's gonna start saying, "Man, I don't want to like delete anything and stuff like that." So it's just
you gotta go. I mean, listen, wait for Black Friday. You're gonna be able to get an external drive cheap. I mean, even if you get something, you know, like small-ish. I mean, like a 2 terabyte. That's still plenty of room. Right now, I'm running 13 terabytes.
Wow, nice. I'm like a hoarder when it comes to my downloaded games.
I don't want to erase them either. I'll just upgrade the.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm like
I
that.
might play it in a few weeks, or I might play it tomorrow, even though I'm more likely won't.
Eric in the chat said Leisure Suit Larry needs backwards compatible. Was that on Xbox?
Oh, I don't know.
If it is, I want that game.
First one was on the original Xbox, yeah. They brought it to 360 as well.
Oh my god, I want that game. Okay.
I always remember saying I want to play that game. CBL, sorry, go ahead.
I can't really remember what I said. I was just saying that, yeah, like I'm a hoarder when it comes to that stuff. I don't like downloading it. And whenever I see a game gets an update and it's like, you need 200 megabytes for the update, uninstall something, I'm like, no.
Yo, CBL, when you first started that and you said you're a hoarder, like when I first heard that, I was like, man, this podcast is going to go a very different direction, like right now. But I heard the "dur" at the end, so we're all good.
All right. Supersonic Station, what have you been playing this week?
A bunch of stuff, but the most game I've been playing the most is Evil Within 2. I absolutely love that game. I just finished it last night. It's so amazing. I love it. And my game of the year was Resident Evil 7, and that just passed it. So I absolutely love it.
You know, it's funny, dude. I don't mean to jump in, but he's 100% right. For the entire 2017 season, RE7 was my #1, and I am telling you, if you love Resident Evil 4, my God, you have to play this game. This game is terrifying, and it has enough action to make you come back. I beat it once. I'm already on my set. I'm ready to beat it a second time.
Can I ask if you both played the first one?
I played only 2 or 3 hours of the first one. I actually want to play it. That's the Evil Within 2 we're talking about, Mel.
Okay, thank you.
The Evil Within 1, I got like maybe 3-4 hours into it. It was slow. It
was gross.
Yeah, it was overly gross. Whereas this over here does have some gross parts, but it's not to the point where it's offensive, if you will. Like it's like over the top, unnecessary. But man, people, first of all, it's Halloween month, so why not play this game? But if you're a Resident Evil type fan, you like that survival horror with the hint of action, I agree with Supersonic. This is game of the year quality stuff.
Yeah, if you like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, like yes. There's even some parts that remind me of Mad Max and it, like collecting all the parts and crap.
Yes, it's fantastic.
And if you like the Evil Dead movies and stuff, like this game kind of reminds me of the Evil Dead. Which
is where Mr. Boomstick comes from. Just saying.
Yep. And you don't need to play the first one, but I highly suggest you play the first one. And it is on sale now because Xbox is doing the Shocktober flash sale right now. So, and the first one's only $15 with all the DLC. So, I mean, like I say, you don't have to play the first one, but I highly recommend that you do because you'll pick up some stuff on the second one, which is awesome. That comes later in the game.
And what else have you been playing?
That's about it.
No VR?
Well, like Overwatch and Destiny 2.
Yeah, cool.
No VR this week.
Awesome.
There is an Exorcist VR thing coming out, right? I saw you post that.
Yes. I can't wait to play that.
I'm gonna put on some Negan shit your pants underwear if I play that game.
Oh yeah, the movie is so scary. I mean, like when you're in VR, you are like 100% immersed in the game or whatever you're playing, and that's going to be so scary.
I can't even think about VR right now because I'm dealing with vertigo. So I'm like, everything is in VR and it's gross. So Xbot,
Yes.
aside from Destiny, what have you played this?
Well, see, I haven't played Destiny. I've been playing Destiny 2, man.
You know what I mean. Aside from Destiny 2.
You still got your sweet business gun?
Oh, I got my sweet business. I got my ornament with it. I got what is it? The submachine gun, the exotic submachine gun. I got the ornament for that. I finally got that shotgun exotic that looks like a a hair dryer. Stuff like that. I'm actually my power level is 301 right now. So now is when kind of like my real grind begins, because now the only way I'll be able to like infuse anything is with exotics and stuff. So to get to 305. But I've been having a blast playing that. And there's actually I got 3 other games I've been playing. I don't know what.
Can I ask you a question about Destiny real fast?
Cuphead is another game. Shout out to Tony.
He totally ignored you, CBL.
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
I just could I ask you something about Destiny real fast now that you're
go ahead,
in love with it. Since you didn't really get into Destiny 1, now that you kind of know more about Destiny, do you think you're going to go back to the first one and do the raids in that game? Because
it's dead.
Pretty good. Is it?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, the sequel comes out like from what I hear.
But there's always plenty of people that don't pick up the sequel straight away.
I don't know. Like, see, the whole thing about this is like, I love what they did with Destiny 2 with starting it with an actual story. All right, and that's what hooked me into this world was having this antagonist going through the story, whether people like the story or not. It's what got me to go in and want to keep playing afterwards. All right. Now the only thing is, and I know Supersonic, before you say this, I know you sent me a message saying that there was one left for a raid, like I think it was like 2 nights ago, but I was busy watching Shameless with Snaps.
Right.
So.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. I just said what I was doing and why I didn't answer.
That's not a game.
It's not. We're talking about a game. No, but yeah, I still haven't done the raid yet. So I got to 301 without.
Dude, there's no rush. There's no rush for the raid. Just enjoy the game.
Raid.
Oh my gosh, he's having a tantrum.
That sounded kind of like Hulk Rage. You're not wearing purple pants that are gonna rip, are you?
He's wearing purple pants. What he's wearing?
It's starting to turn green right now. But other than that, like I said, I've been playing Cuphead every once in a while, getting little dabs of that in there. That's a fun game to play.
He was getting pissed off.
Well,
the game will make you mad. Sure.
I was not getting mad. I might have growled a couple times, but that was about it. Oh man. See now. Oh, Forza Motorsport 7 as well. I like to go in there and just get a few races done. I'm almost done. I think I have 2 championships left.
Wow.
In the single player campaign, and I'll be done with that. And then it'll just be online racing and stuff. They did such an incredible job with that game, and the original 360 version of Halo 4. I went into the multiplayer and got to play on a couple maps and stuff that they don't offer in the Master Chief Collection, and I had a lot of fun doing that. There's still people playing Halo 4 multiplayer. The multiplayer that most people said was horrible and stuff like that. Guess what, guys? People are still playing it on the 360 and whatnot. So I was able. What's up?
I know. I was just messing, saying, why are they still playing Halo 4?
I guess they like the ordnance drops and everything. I guess I don't know. So I had fun doing that, and those are the games. So I am done, and back to you.
Beautiful. Back to you. You guys, there's almost 50 people watching. Guys, hit that like button, please, and share the show out and get more people in here. We do lots of giveaways all the time. Today, there is no giveaways that I can think of at this point, but we do want people to come watch the show live because whenever we do giveaways, they are always live. And we do appreciate you guys all joining us this morning and hanging out in the chat. It makes my week to just do the show and, you know, have fun with you guys. So as far as what I've been playing this week, I was watching Shameless on Netflix. I was just playing Netflix. Now I played some N++ with the kids on the twins' birthday, which was this past Sunday. We had a nice 4-player. Yeah, they are old little 10-year-old men. And I'll let them know you said happy birthday. So we had a little party game going of that. So that was a lot of fun. And I went to play Fortnite this morning and it was being a shit. And let's see. Oh, I just downloaded Cuphead. So I will be playing that this week. Other than that, I've been playing the game of life.
Live stream that. She's got you got to live stream Cuphead.
Yeah. Do you want
at least a tutorial? Live stream that to show how easy it is.
We want to see you bite a chunk out of your controller, like
That's what I was gonna say. She's gonna start breaking shit and throwing the controller across.
I'll be that person who it takes 27 minutes to pass a tutorial. So I don't want to be that guy. So yeah, I will be playing more games because my work life is kind of balancing out right now, and I'm really excited for that because shit's been crazy, you guys. Like. I've been doing so many hours, so it's finally smoothing out and I'll be able to play more games and, you know, be able to do more party chats and streams and shit like that. So I'm excited. Now I kind of want to jump into Sunset Overdrive because we all love Sunset Overdrive. We all go back to that game from time to time just to play it and, you know, re-experience it. So there is, you know, a possibility of getting a Sunset Overdrive sequel. You know, I guess Insomniac Games just needs a publisher. I did see the tweet. So Mr. Boomstick, I'm going to give it to you because I know you were talking about this in our group chat.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. Sunset Overdrive is one of those titles that shamefully, I would say at least half of the current Xbox populace did not either play or give it a chance to play. When this game launched, it was around the time where the Xbox One only had about 10 million units in the wild. And it's one of those titles that to this day, I think, holds up. It is a big open world with a lot of color, a lot of humor. And when a fan reached out to Insomniac and they came back with the tweet, all we need is a publisher. Look, here's the thing. Shame on Microsoft for not getting ahead of this right out of the gate, because I don't care. Yeah, the X is coming out and we got backwards compatibility and everyone's got their Unity candles and that's great. You know what? At the end of the day, the system still needs exclusives. And this is a big time exclusive with nearly 40 million units out in the wild. This would sell. And again, do what Ubisoft did with South Park, the new one. Offer you know, an enhanced, you know, version for free if you pre-order 2, and you will get sales. People are like, well, you know, I don't have the first one, or I don't want to go out and buy the first one. You know what? Pre-order 2, and you can have 1 for free, and it's an enhanced version. This is, to me, in my opinion, an absolute no-brainer for Microsoft to get behind this game. They have the assets, they have the story. This isn't, you know, you're not taking a chance on an unknown franchise. This wouldn't even be that big of an investment, to be honest. I think it's a mistake if they don't pick up this fumble and run it into the end zone.
Oh, it's indeed a mistake. Like, I'm surprised that it's at the point where they're tweeting, we just need a publisher. That's kind of like, that's ridiculous. They should not be even at that point. It should already be a thing.
Yes, I absolutely agree, 100%. So I sent out a massive tweet. I think we're close to like 70 likes and retweets on it. Look, I don't care about popularity. I think that if you're an Xbox fan, okay, and you want this to happen, take 5 seconds out of your busy day and tweet at Mike Ybarra, tweet at Major Nelson, Aaron Greenberg, Phil Spencer. Let them know that you want this done, that you're a fan of the game and you want to see this done. You know what? The power of the people will this game to reality.
I am down for the sequel as well. I've gone on record stating that Sunset Overdrive is like if somebody opened up my whole thought process and made a video game, it would be Sunset Overdrive. I love punk music. I love that type of sense of humor. Sarcasm, breaking the fourth wall, all that good stuff. But with all this being said, I do want a sequel. Don't you think with them not jumping on it already and it taking like Insomniac Games to say, hey, all we need is a publisher, seeing the community, do you know how many people retweeted that to Phil Spencer? Oh my goodness. Like he must have got flooded.
Yes.
With that.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. He's the head of Xbox. He's in a more powerful position. And you know what? Look, say what you want about Sony, but they don't care if a title that they help publish sells only 1.5 million copies. They keep bringing new and interesting software to their fans. That's what Microsoft needs to do. They have the power, they have the community, they have Xbox Live, they have the Elite controller, and now we have the most powerful console. They need to get this done as a goodwill to the fans that have stood by this system from the beginning to now.
Well, what I'm saying is it's already kind of a black eye, though. Even if they do make the sequel and stuff like that, people can always point back to that point in time and where, Insomniac had to go on social media and talk about needing a publisher before Xbox or Microsoft did anything. You're right. You know what I'm saying? Where they should have jumped on this. A lot of times when it comes to new IPs, now, in my opinion, Sunset Overdrive was popular for a brand new IP. It didn't just like blow out the gates and sell tons and tons of copies or whatever, but there's a lot of IPs that don't do that. And the sequel is where you start seeing the real software sales jumps and stuff like that.
It could be an Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2. Uncharted 1 didn't sell very well, right? And Uncharted 2, still to this day, my favorite PS3 game of all time.
And can you imagine if Sony was like, oh, the first one didn't sell exactly what we expected, so we're not going to make a sequel. And now, you got Uncharted 4, you got kind of like the standalone DLC.
Both amazing.
People are saying, what's going on with that franchise? Are they going to make another one now? And it all started with that first game that didn't sell that great, Right.
Yes, I agree. And that's a great point, dude.
It's also like Microsoft are in a much better position now than they were when Sunset Overdrive released. I know there still is a bit of media bias out there. There always will be. But compared to what it was like the year Sunset Overdrive released, they're in a much better place right now, especially with the release of the Xbox One X coming up. They can bring all they have to do, like Phil Spencer, new position, greenlight the sequel to Sunset Overdrive 2, add the multiplayer feature that was on that game, like have it as like a jump in, jump out co-op experience. Even though I know most people like it for single player, but that game had multiplayer already, might as well just advance it a little bit. Like lots of people will love to just go around the big massive city, doing all the crazy shit you do in that game. I think it'll be a great thing. Sunset Overdrive is amazing, and I loved it. I played all the DLC. And I highly recommend it to anyone that hasn't played it.
Definitely. The only thing with the sequel, is you got to make it co-op. You got to make the story co-op. You have to build the game around the fact that, it would be maybe 1 to 4 players going in co-op or whatnot.
Yes, that would be fantastic.
They have to put that in there. That was the one big gripe for the people who did buy it. When the original, for people who bought Sunset Overdrive, the biggest complaint was there was no real co-op. They had a special co-op section. What's up?
That pissed me off because I wanted to play the story
with You're actually the person I was thinking about when I was saying that. I was like, yo, she was so mad about that.
And I played the game, and I don't like single player games. And I played and I had fun and I bitched the entire time because I'm like, what can we do co-op? What can we do co-op? So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but that would be the only thing. I mean, you could do more creatures and stuff like that. You know, the developers have had more time with this API. The API and the dev kit are like 100 times better than what they were when they first built Sunset Overdrive. So imagine what they can do now. And they have the Xbox One X. You get the X enhancements going, all that good stuff. It is a game that deserves a sequel, and I feel like it sold well enough. The original sold well enough for a brand new IP that this should have been a no-brainer to Phil Spencer, to the Xbox division, and they got to get it done, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's not like the game completely flopped or anything. Like the game did well enough. Like the fact that they didn't greenlight it and they are tweeting about they just need a publisher, that's basically them asking for help.
Yes.
Like to get Microsoft's attention. It's like, hey, Xbox fans, we know you want a sequel. You ask us all the time. We just need a publisher right now. Spread those, like, let Microsoft know and Phil Spencer know how much you want this, so they probably contact us and work out a deal.
You know, and the thing is, if Microsoft doesn't do this, right, you already know they have interest in making the sequel. If another publisher comes through, we're going to get a sequel that could go multi-plat.
Yes, that's correct. Yep.
Maybe even
that would be devastating. I know
PS4 exclusive.
Yep. You know what?
Well, if it goes multi-plat, that's not that bad of a
That's
thing.
not that bad.
Because at least we still get a sequel to the game.
But if it's up in the air like that,
again, the problem that I have with the marketing of Microsoft and some of their current and past decisions. I'm not a business guy, okay? But I'm a gamer and I'm a fan, okay? We all are. The mere fact that this has, I'm not sure how, you know, your ear to the floor is with Twitter, but this has been the hottest topic on Twitter since that tweet went out. That shows a significant interest to a game that maybe in Microsoft's opinion didn't do well, but I feel deserves you know, to be looked at again. And on top of that, let's call a spade, folks. Microsoft needs exclusive games. And this is an already established Microsoft title that should stay on the system. Again, if it goes multi-plat, that means everyone's gonna be able to enjoy the game. Fine, that's fantastic. But I'm looking at it from a Microsoft employee. Wait a second, we don't have a lot of exclusives. This one was already on our console. You know, let's spend a couple of bucks and get it done. I'm just saying.
That'll be a couple of bucks well worth spending.
Yes, for
you
sure.
know, they definitely need to make that dive. And you know what? Quite honestly, at this point, I would hope that, you know, if they were trying to do a Sunset Overdrive, they would go multi-plat just for the bullshit that Microsoft is putting them through in the first place. You know, but I do want to bring up, Predator said something in the chat before. Oh, I gotta find it. As far as Insomniac goes, you have to ask yourself why the relationship between Microsoft and Insomniac soured in the first place. That's a really good point.
I don't know if it actually soured though, because
they did have a 2-game deal. See, that's a lot of people don't know that they had a 2-game deal, which they let expire. So I don't know if there's some bad blood there, but listen, this needs to get done. Go, you know, have Phil go down and sit down with the head of Insomniac. What's his name?
That's the one thing I'm bad about. Like, we could talk to the Mooch. Mooch knows every single name from every like development team. And
where's Mooch? Get him in here right now. I think that this game should be exclusive to Microsoft. I feel like Microsoft needs to have that exclusivity, you know, where they have something for us fans to turn to. But if they're not going to make it happen, then, you know, we might as well have, you know, PlayStation in the mix too. You know, that's just my opinion.
They really need to get their sequels like worked on. Like people want a Rise 2, people want the Alan Wake 2, Quantum. Like Microsoft are terrible with their sequels, and unless it's Forza, Halo.
I was gonna say not with Forza Gears or Halo though.
Yeah, they're the ones that are immediately green lighted for all future games because Phil Spencer loves Forza, so that's not going anywhere. Forza 7 does have a bad year.
You know why? Because the first iterations of those franchises did incredibly well.
Yes. Yep. It's Ted Price, by the way, who's in head of Insomniac Games, which is, by the way, that's a good guy in the industry. Ted Price is a gentleman.
That we think. We don't know.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't think he was on NeoGAF, so that's a good start.
Oh, nice segue.
Well, then let's talk about NeoGAF. Now, mind you guys, I've been busy this week, so I only know what I've heard. So I would like some clarity on the situation. So I'm gonna hand this over to Xbox. Xbox, Jesus Christ, Xbox. Could you tell me about what happened with NeoGAF?
Well, I'm not a real expert of NeoGAF. For people who know me, I'm not on the thing. All right, we should have had like Jamie Moran and Tim Dog here, but
get Jamie Moran, Tim Dog, and Mooch up in here right now.
Oh my goodness! And then we can just go have lunch. Go grab a sandwich and let them talk about it. But basically, NeoGAF, which is a forum where people come together, talk about games and stuff like that. In the beginning, it was known as a place where actual developers would come in and talk to gamers, about different projects coming up,
their opinions,
industry, and all that good stuff. Over time, it has turned into an absolute cesspool where it just turned so anti-Xbox that anything anybody said that had like a positive Xbox like tone to it, the moderators of this forum would
block you.
Would block them out of the forum, would delete what they were saying, all sorts of craziness, right? Well, you know about karma. Karma comes around in a 360-degree manner, and I guess the head of NeoGAF, the guy who started the whole thing, has been charged with some type of sexual assault, which is the best way I'm going to say. I don't really know what's going on there.
Clarify this with us,
Yeah, the owner of the head guy is Tyler Malka. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name, and he was accused of rape and sexual misconduct, which is pretty bad.
Yeah, well, and then after all that came out, and all of a sudden, NeoGAF was down for maintenance, and I guess it has come up a couple days later. It is back up, but it is now like the Rule 34 forum. There's just like all sorts of crazy like video game sexual pictures and stuff like that. There's like it's like NeoGAF gone wilder now.
Wilder. I'm looking at an article about it. It says NeoGAF is back online, but it's turned into an undead Nazi version of its former self. So I've never really gone on NeoGAF. I find on my like any news or anything, and hang out on either YouTube or Twitter. So I don't really do that.
I've only been there a couple of times. It's very toxic. Whether you're, it doesn't matter if you're an Xbox fan. Forget. Don't even say anything. But for the most part, it's packed with a lot of hateful, probably young people who feel that they're superheroes behind their keyboards. And some of the things that I said, especially when it comes to like racism, is just I think I might have went to the site 1 or 2, 3 times, and I just never went back. It's not my scene. I don't like that negativity, the hate, the racism. It's a bad scene.
Well, a lot of people thought when it said down for maintenance, everybody's like, yeah, right, it's not down for maintenance, it's down for good. And a lot of people thought it would stay that way, but unfortunately it came back up. It's not what it used to be. Right, it's even worse than what it used to be. There's like no rhyme or reason to it anymore.
I have to create an account to get in here. Jesus.
Yeah, you have to make a NeoGAF account, your name, and all sorts of crazy.
Is that like kind of the same as Kotaku? Like I've never been to either one of those things. Like I don't know forum things. I never go to them. But
it's the homeland of the trolls. Says So Shady in the chat.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not creating an account, but yeah, continue.
I also never use NeoGAF. I've only ever heard things about it, and everything I've always heard was always bad. It's a full of toxic place to go, and I see enough toxic shit on Twitter, so I'm not going.
True story.
Well, back in the day, NeoGAF was the place where you would get a lot of quote unquote leaks. Like there would be certain people that were working with development teams that made a NeoGAF account that they couldn't get kind of like attached to. And that's what made NeoGAF popular, was the fact that these people within the gaming industry would use it to kind of like, you know, leak out, you know, games and features and things coming around the you know, the bend when it comes to, you know, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo and stuff like that. And then it deteriorated into just nothing but a fanboy forum of anti-Xbox, to the point where, like we said, they were banning people who said anything good about Xbox. They would delete what they were saying, ban them outright, and not have them in there. Like, nobody could say anything good about that platform. It had to be, you know, all Sony, Nintendo, PC, and stuff like that. And it was good to see it down for a couple of days. Now, I don't think it's ever going to be, you know, what it was before. I think it's just going to keep kind of like deteriorating and keep deteriorating. But I did notice something that, you know, came from this whole thing. A lot of the moderators that were at NeoGAF, guess what, guys?
They're fired.
They're now hanging out in Twitter.
Oh,
Oh God! Hey, does GameSpot and IGN have accounts on NeoGAF? Because they kind of sound like the same thing.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't even know. I've never spent any time in there. I've seen people post stuff about it. I've heard people both, even on the PlayStation side, you know, a bunch of my friends that prefer PlayStation and stuff like that. I asked them about NeoGAF. They're like, I don't go near that place. Like, that is horrible.
Like the forbidden zone.
Yeah.
I didn't know they talked about all that freaky stuff, though. I thought it was just like gaming, but wow, that's just crazy.
Well, you know what? If it dies off, I say good riddance to bad rubbish.
oh, absolutely. I like the way you said that. So the owner was accused of sexual assault.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure everything is clear.
Yes.
Or sexual misconduct. Now, is this with posts, or this is like real life stuff that
Real life.
Okay, so how did that make it to NeoGAF is my question. Like, is it, I'm confused, and I like to know things like, how did this come to NeoGAF when this...
Well, somebody found out the information. I mean, obviously he wouldn't make that public that he was accused of rape, because that's what the original story wrote. And then obviously they followed that with also one of the added charges was sexual misconduct, which could be a tremendous host of things. So someone got the information, and like most stuff on NeoGAF, they just throw stuff out there, leaks, or some are true and not true. This happened to be true.
Okay, I just found an article I'm reading about it. It was in 2015. You know, and the thing is, like, all right, first of all, anything can be dug up about people on the internet, you know, and this is something that is entirely too sad. And I hope this person, you know, doesn't have a following anymore, where, you know, people find that this is okay.
Well, I'm thinking that this probably stems from what happened with that Harvey Weinstein, where all of these actresses are now coming forward. You're going to start seeing this. And you know what? Power to the women, because rape is unacceptable. Sexual misconduct. Somebody doesn't want to be touched, you don't touch them. Okay?
Absolutely.
Whether it's sexual or not. And you know what? I hate to say this, but, you know, guys, you know, the bad guys out there have gotten away with this because women are ashamed and afraid to come forward. You know what? Good for that first actress that put the spotlight on that scumbag Harvey Weinstein, and now everyone's coming forward. And you know what? It should be that one woman that came forward first is going to be the head of the revolution. That if you were sexually assaulted, male or female, it doesn't even matter, that you have rights and that you should come forward and you should say something, because that's unacceptable behavior.
It is absolutely unacceptable. And you know, the thing is, like, people can't keep secrets, especially on the internet. So, you know, anything that is in the dark will come to the light. So, you know, and if anybody does have an issue with, you know, any type of, you know, sexual issues, misconduct and assault and stuff like that, you need to let someone know. Any type of rape, you know, not on the internet necessarily in public, you know, but go see somebody and go talk to them about it. You know, and if anybody needs to talk, you can talk to me. I don't listen all the time, but I try. But, you know, the reality of it is this is bullshit and they should shut it down completely. I don't think that it should be reopened because that's just opening the door for it to happen again, you know, or opening the door.
Some of the mods are working on a new website or something
or
like
it's,
that.
it's opening the door to just be more careful, and that's not okay, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you guys want to add about that?
No, I think we've said our piece.
I don't know. I think you could say more.
Rest in peace.
It was shit when it was here, and it's not going to be missed. I feel sorry for all the people that were affected.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I'm happy that the guy finally got caught because this, like, it's terrible when stuff like this happens and no one should get away with it. They done the crime, so now hopefully he gets to do some time.
And it's good timing for Xbox X2. NeoGAF goes down right before the launch. That's awesome.
Halo Storm says in the chat, why do these shitty websites even exist? They exist because people are shitty people sometimes and they need a place to go be shitty at. But, you know, we have to, I guess, you know, I mean, it's not necessarily our responsibility to kind of babysit these websites. But, you know, if anybody does, like, you know, join, like, let's say NeoGAF, or you're a part of anything where you see stuff, be the bigger person and, you know, back away and report them, guys. So we're not saying anything else about it.
UK Dad says he should chop his dick off, and I have to say I agree.
Yes, absolutely. They would in another country.
Dum, dum, dum. That's gross. I don't want to think about that, but, you know, if that's what makes you guys happy, then go for it. All right. So we do have the Xbox One X hype 13 days away, you guys. I want to see in the chat if everybody's ready. Hit number one if Black Tiger, Loretta Bobbitt style. Hit number one if you guys have pre-ordered your Xbox One X, if it's day one or anything. And hit number two if you haven't and you're waiting. I'm number two, unfortunately, but Xbot has his, and I know that a lot of people are happy and, you know, they're ready to go. So I want to hear what you guys are going to be playing first on your Xbox One X. Oh, look at Halo Storms with me in the 2 group. Daz is in the 2 group. So Supersonic Station, you said you were saving a game for Xbox One X. What was that game?
I don't remember what that one was, but I know the first game I'm popping in is Gears of War.
That's a good one.
Nice.
Which, by the way, I'm glad you mentioned that. No one mentioned it yet. Single player has a 60 FPS mode.
Yep, that's going to be awesome.
So,
I have a question. Is Division getting enhanced?
Yes, Division is getting an enhancement as well. That's correct.
Yes, that's definitely a game I'm jumping back into if it gets enhanced. And everything else in my library, I've just been playing Cuphead and Evil Within 2 because, I mean, they're not super graphically demanding or anything like that. And everything else I've been just saving for the X. I really want to see what Gears of War looks like. And the Division. I can't wait to get back into that.
And I know Creating Beyond Limits, you're going to be waiting for a while, just like me. I will be taking over the Xbox One X from Xbox just to experience it.
What? What?
Yes,
What?
yes, I think that's fair. It's fair.
What?
So I can only
What's
imagine.
an Xbox One X?
Exactly. I can imagine that Xbox, the first game he's going to play is Forza 7. That's,
You know,
just,
man, it's a toss. Like, I really want to see what from what I've saw from Gears. I saw screenshots of Gears running on the X.
Crazy.
Oh my goodness, I've never seen a game look
Freaking
like
crazy.
that.
We definitely got to get down and play some 4-player co-op on single player, all of us.
That's what I'm down for. Gears,
Yeah.
I'm not a big multiplayer fan.
No, I'm not a big fan of that either, but the single player 4-player co-op would be dope.
I like Horde
I
mode.
love Horde. I love Horde mode.
All right, well, you know, that's something we'll have to do. Fuzzy Belvedere says first game he's going to play is a tough choice. Forza 7, The Division, Wolfenstein 2, Assassin's Creed Origins. That's a lot of options.
I mean, if you think about it, how fantastic is it right now if you're an Xbox fan that you're going to have such a gigantic amount of games to play on your new system that are going to look just as good, some better, than even the high-end PC, which it's crazy to even say that out loud.
Yeah.
I gotta say, at the end of the day, you know what game, when I first power up the X, you know what game I'm probably gonna play right off the bat?
Destiny or Halo.
No.
Destiny
Halo
2, get it right.
Halo 5. It's just the fact that, I thought the game looked gorgeous when it came out, right?
Yeah.
I want to see what they did in terms of like improving textures and all that good stuff when it comes to the story. I already love the multiplayer. All right. But there was a couple missions in my review of Halo 5. There was a couple missions when you were looking around. You're on a glass planet, you're looking around. The textures on the ground took me out of the immersion for that level because they weren't great. I was if you get into Halo lore, you always wanted to check out a glassed planet, a planet that was glassed by the Covenant. You wanted to see the actual effect and kind of look through the glass and see maybe some of the destruction and stuff like that happened underneath and all that good stuff. So I want to go back and I want to see exactly what they did to improve the graphics and everything within the story of Halo 5.
I've played a Halo 5 on PC, and if it's gonna look like that and play like that, you're gonna be in for a treat. I mean, of course, you can't play the campaign on PC, but it looks and runs really smooth. So,
and see, and I don't think a lot of people notice this, right? But with the multiplayer is built differently than the story, right? In the story, you do have that co-op, but it's only 4 people. It's taking up less of the memory to run the story. Therefore, the graphics are actually better in the story as compared to the multiplayer. Not by much, right? But the graphics are better. They have improved lighting, all sorts of stuff that they have in the story. And this is kind of like standard issue when it comes to games that have a single player and then a competitive multiplayer element to it. Because, they have to scale some things back to get that 60 frames per second, all sorts of stuff when it comes to the online multiplayer. So I really want to see exactly, because the single player already looks better. I want to see how far they're going to go with this in terms of the textures and stuff like that. So Halo 5 will be the first game that I play on the X. Yeah.
How about Quantum Break? Everybody talked about how pretty that game was. I think that'd be a cool game.
Yes, it looked. I mean, listen, at the 720p that it was, it
looked amazing.
It still looked fantastic. So I can only imagine what it's going to look like in near 4K.
Yeah, absolutely. Hang on one second, real quick. Alan Savage in the chat, he says, I've heard that some of these games, the 4K patches won't be until the end of November. Is that true? Does anybody know? You guys, are you able to answer that?
I think they're all rolling out at different times. It just depends on how far ahead the developer has them.
Okay. So I mean, I know everybody is excited. I'm loving like the chat. There's a lot of games that people are playing or going to play.
What's it? I still have to say, even though I'm not getting an Xbox One X, I know
you're gonna borrow Xbox.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over there. Gonna get a plane ticket, fly over, steal it. So if it goes missing, don't blame me. But I know what one of the games I will be turning on first when I do manage to get one, and that is The Witcher 3. That game already like on the Xbox One looks fantastic.
You know what? Shame for me that I only put about 4 hours into that, and I never went back to it. I'm waiting. When they announced the X, I knew it was going to get an enhancement, so I just waited on that.
The only enhancement for Witcher 3 is they make that scene where you have sex on a unicorn. They make it look super realistic.
I want a unicorn.
Yeah. I want a unicorn. It's going to be amazing.
T. Sholin, I don't know if I pronounced that right. If I didn't, sorry. He said, they said Forza Motorsport 7 sold less than GT Sport. They will have a huge surprise when the X will be.
Well, to be fair, they wait a lot longer than Xbox. They get a racing game every year. They've been waiting years on this game.
Exactly.
Can I say something about GT Sport? I've installed this on my PlayStation 4 Pro. I could not even get in a game. It took like 45 minutes. I was like, fuck this. So I uninstalled.
How long did it take?
Like 45 minutes. I was like, I just wanted to see what it was like. It was like that's the only thing I've ever played is like Forza and Outrun. Those are like the only 2 racing games I ever
You had
played. So when
flashbacks to Friday the 13th, didn't you?
yeah, I mean, it's pissed. Like, there's no excuse for that, and I don't know. I just uninstalled it, so I don't know.
Speaking of, GT Sport, the GT Sport comparison versus Forza, I'm curious about this. I've only heard about this. Obviously, one looks better than the other, so I'm going to hand this over to XBot.
Oh, yeah. Well, Digital Foundry came out and they're doing the comparison between Forza Motorsport 7 and Gran Turismo Sport. Now, for Gran Turismo Sport, they were using the PlayStation 4 Pro. And for Forza Motorsport 7, it was a little weird. They were using the PC version, and they said all settings maxed out. Now, one thing is the PC version doesn't have high dynamic range color as of yet.
That's
so
correct.
That automatically makes it uneven. But when it comes down to this analysis, I mean, they did go in and they showed detail for a particular car.
Right.
They used the MX-5, the Mazda MX-5. They said because it was convertible, it was easier to go in and see the interior and stuff like that. Now, in these games, the MX-5 is actually different. The Forza Motorsport 7 uses the higher tier MX-5 from that year that comes with leather. It comes with a navigation system, all this good stuff on the dashboard, whereas the MX-5 on the GT Sport is kind of like the more economic model. It comes with cloth interior, no navigation system in it and stuff like that. So they are also inherently different.
It's funny. I don't mean to cut you off, but everything that you said, I had no idea. And it's really suspicious how all that information that you had was left out of this review, which I watched, by the way.
Well, I mean, they did say it in points in time, but what they did was they kind of muffled it and they blended it in. Here's the thing, all right? When it comes to these games, when it comes to racing simulations and stuff, if you are a racing simulation fan, one of the biggest things, well, 2 of the biggest things is realism and options, right? Because you want to be able to have the widest range of cars, whether it's all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive. You want to have the widest range of cars, car manufacturers to choose from, to be able to go in under the hood, do upgrades, tune them up, and get the most out of them. Now, with that core for a racing simulator, Forza Motorsport 7 has over 700 cars.
Correct.
Right? GT Sport has about 160 cars. Not only that, there's more tracks in Forza Motorsport than there is in GT Sport. Now, these are things that should fundamentally put Forza Motorsport ahead of the curve. They only said it twice during this analysis. And like I said, they tried to blend it in real quick. But they were talking about the windshield wiper spout thingy that shoots windshield wiper fluid onto the windshield. They were talking about the detail in the hood ornament. They even tried to compare the cloth interior to the leather interior. And the thing about that is with cloth, you have a lot more texture there. You have to represent it with a lot more texture than you do with leather, because leather has a shine to it. So when the light hits it, it actually takes away from the detail to show the shine that's going on with it. It was just such a lopsided analysis, and they gave it to GT Sport. And the thing
which is absurd. In
every you got to think about the content as well. Of course, the cars in those areas could definitely be more detailed. I am not saying that GT Sport isn't more detailed in those areas when it comes to the cars, but you look at 160 cars versus 700 cars. You look at the more realistic gameplay and driving mechanic that Forza Motorsport has, more tracks, the dynamic weather, which GT Sport doesn't have dynamic weather. You can set the time of day before the race, but it stays that time of day. So if you set noon, it doesn't matter if it's a 70-lap race. It's still going to be noon when you finish the race.
Yeah. So on the side, too, they look like cardboard cutouts. It's pretty bad.
And that's another thing. When it comes to I understand the car detail. I even understand what they've done with the trees, because they went in and talked about the trees and stuff like that.
They got very specific with that.
Yeah, but the thing is, they put so much detail into little parts of GT Sport that other parts look like cardboard. Like what Sonic said, they look like they're just two-dimensional images and stuff like that. And it's not like they put those 2D images like far off in the distance or anything. They put it right up front, right next to the racetrack and stuff. So they put in a lot of detail into the cars and certain things on the track, but they really cut away from other aspects in the game in terms of the graphics. And you didn't hear Digital Foundry really go in and talk about that at all. You didn't hear them go in and say, well, Forza Motorsport 7 is an absolutely huge game with like over seven times the cars. I figure by the end of the day, when all the DLC, everybody who got the car pass gets all their packs and stuff like that, there's about 7 times the cars. There's more tracks. There's dynamic weather. There's just so much going on with Forza Motorsport 7. But at the end of the day, they took one MX-5, looked at the detail, they looked at the trees, and then they gave it to GT Sport. So what do you guys think?
Basically, this is another case of media bias bullshit.
See, I when Digital Foundry came out and they were talking about the 1X and they were talking about, Shadow of War, and they were giving everything kind of like to Xbox on that, saying, man, like the X version looks incredible. There are a lot of people who are like, oh man, well, Digital Foundry, man, they turned that corner. They're going to say it like it is right now and all this good stuff.
And then they went and did that.
Dude, you gotta, if you built up, if your content was built up on showing Blades of Grass and GTA, if everything equal, to games on both platforms, and somehow you're still giving it to Sony and stuff, you built up a pile of content that one analysis when it comes to Shadow of War isn't going to make all that other content disappear. And I was trying to tell people, they're not done with this BS yet. And then they came around with this. I'm like, see, told you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it is clearly, without being a fanboy for one team or the other, the game that has the more content, the better control, the better lighting. Listen, I'm not saying GT Sport's a piece of shit. It looks good.
Yeah.
It's a comparable game. And you know what? Hooray for the PlayStation fans that have been waiting since the PS4 launched to get their driving simulator that actually works, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you give the nod based on, it could, again, just imagine for a second if the shoe was on the other foot. Let's just say Forza was the one with 170 cars and 15 tracks, as opposed to Sony's behemoth of 700 plus cars and 30 tracks. It would be a massacre.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's the double standard. And look, I think that they're trying to get whatever they can get in before the X releases, because let's call a spade once again. When the X comes out, all third-party games will have the nod given to the Xbox platform, because it's going to be the more powerful hardware. And I don't think they're going to be able to, rub it a different way to get it, a different outcome.
The one thing I remember when looking into GT Sport, now it does have a VR mode, but the VR mode is only for one-on-one races with the AI. It's not even like the full 20 cars that are on the racetrack, where Forza Motorsport actually has 24 cars. So it has more cars on the track and everything like that. But the VR mode is strictly for this like little arcade type thing. I can see if they had VR support for that full 20 race mode and all that good stuff, I can see taking some of the graphics back, taking some of the features back and stuff in order to put that VR mode in. I mean, it's one of your newest pieces of hardware. Right. You're trying to promote it. I understand that, and they didn't do it like that, though. It's just this one little side thing that you can do if you want to. But if that's what it takes to put a VR mode into a game, if you're going to cut so many corners, take so much stuff out of there, there's no
and don't even bother to do it.
Yeah, exactly. There's no true traditional campaign. There are driver license kind of like challenges that you can play by yourself. But even if you don't have online, you can't even like save your game.
Well, the online isn't supposed to launch until the end of the month, right? Or is it sometime in November? Because GameSpot won't do a review on it until the tournaments start. Right. I was just going to bring that up, that GameSpot will not give an official review because the online races are not available. Now, I like hold the phone for a second. When have you ever heard in the history of game journalism that a game comes out? Yeah, they may say, okay, the review is in progress because they're playing the game and they wanted to wait till the online servers came live once the game was, officially out. You might get a 5-day, maybe 7 in some of these sites, but to wait on a whole month to give a review, come on.
I was gonna say, I've heard of
ridiculous.
5 to 7 days, but yeah, a month that's crazy. That's just ridiculous.
No, what Boom said, having a review in progress, which is a thing.
Yes,
this generation now, like, but they're like, no, we're not even doing any of that until the tournament is out. You know why? Because it's only like 20% of a full game without those tournaments put into play for multiplayer. Yeah?
But yet it's getting the nod over a full package, which is literally 6 times the amount of content on cars, double the amount of tracks. Look, we can beat this horse all day long, or pony, however you want to spin it.
Sorry.
It is a double standard, and the better game is Forza. That's it. There's no, you can't say anything about it. Content, they win. Graphics, they win. And the fact that a game came out missing content and is still getting the nod should prove to anyone that there is a bias in the media. Sorry.
Yeah, I got a clap. I got a clap for So Shady in the chat though. Just 1 second. He said this is BS basically. He's like, they had no problem reviewing Master Chief Collection when it launched. Not only that, they had no problem reviewing Halo 5 when it first came out. One of the things was lack of content, even though 343 said in a month's time we are dropping new maps and stuff like that. They neglected to not put their review on hold for Halo 5, and they basically said, well, no, we're gonna review it and
we're gonna review the game that we have in hand. Yes, that's correct. Ridiculous.
You guys might have already said this, but was this compared to the PC Forza or the Xbox One X Forza?
The PC.
I wonder if they'll do another one against the Xbox One X.
But doesn't it even matter? Like here's the thing. I know we talk about hardcore gamers and then we talk about casual gamers. And we say casuals don't really look into this stuff, but there are many kind of like levels in between.
Yes.
There are more casual gamers, but they look into like these kind of analysis and stuff like that. They might not know exactly what's being said throughout the whole video. But they hear where these quote unquote professionals are leaning in terms of what's the better game.
They use keywords to kind of basically in your mind will break it down and pick out the negative and the positive instead of like all right, so I could listen to you talk Xbot and I don't hear a fucking thing you say except for that one thing that I did not like or that I really did like I listened to you but I'm not hearing you except for those keywords. So that's something that people got to keep in mind. They could be listening to a video like, all right, Sunday I was running around the house doing stuff, right? I'm listening to MNC Mornings. I heard keywords where I'd stop and listen more, so that's also something that they do because, it gets to people emotionally and they're going to hear the negative, but they're not necessarily going to hear the positive, it depending on which way the video is leaning.
Exactly.
So it's very interesting.
And I don't know, man, like it feels like whenever a quality title comes out for Xbox, whether it's Digital Foundry, whether it's IGN, whether it's GameSpot, I call it quantum breaking the game because Quantum Break to me was a terrific game. Now, the only thing they could pull off is, well, what's the resolution of this? It's registering at 1080, but it looks like 720. So we don't understand this. And we're going to dive in and we're going to go Quantum Break, resolution. They just try to find or create that one thing when it comes to a quality Xbox title to put the doubt into the gamers out there that aren't like hardcore Xbox gamers, the ones that really want to, get the information about the game, even the ones that are more on the casual side, but they want to hear what a quote unquote professional says about a title or a piece of hardware or something like that. And they got to find that one thing there to try to tear it down, and it's bullshit. It's complete bullshit.
It's a shame because what winds up happening is the game is damaged before it even hits the market. And
Absolutely.
the perfect example is Quantum Break, which, by the way, I got 1,000 out of 1,000 achievement points. I played the hell out of that game, loved every minute of it. And again, it's one of those games, we're not getting a sequel, and it's a shame that we'll never see the franchise continue because the media decided to pounce on the rabbit, so to speak.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
to be
instead of
fair, it
looking
wasn't
at-
as good as Alan Wake.
Well, but did you like look at the innovation that they did with Quantum Break? And I know there were some people that didn't like it or anything like that, but to have you playing as the hero and to have like a 17 to 20 minute kind of like TV show showing the other side of it, showing like the villain corporation side of it. You can ask Oh Snaps. I went through, I played the level. I watched the TV show. I played the level and I watched the TV show.
Yeah, same.
It was awesome experience for me.
Not to mention, they gave you an opportunity at the end of that level to make a choice that changed what you saw. So you logistically had to remember what you chose. If you were a fan of the game, which I did, I wrote down what I chose, and I chose the different option the next time to see that other content.
Exactly. Replay value as
yes,
well.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, we do have to wrap up the show for today. I know it's a bit earlier than our normal, but we got to go. We got a couple appointments to deal with today, and I do apologize. It's been great conversation. I would love to keep going, but, unfortunately today we're in a time crunch. So, we're going to do some outros here. Supersonic Station, where can people find you, and what are you up to?
Supersonic Station, all one word. Find me on YouTube and Mixer and in the bed sick here in a little bit. Probably gonna
better.
I'm probably gonna be streaming lots of horror games and lots of horror VR games for the end of October, going into Halloween. And yeah, Supersonic Station, YouTube, Mixer. That's it.
Awesome. I totally forgot Halloween is like right around the corner. It's like less than a week away, guys. So that's exciting. So make sure you get your fill of horror games in. And Supersonic Station's Twitter is linked below. Make sure you guys follow him on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to his channel here on YouTube. Then we have Xbot448. Where can people find you? What are you up to?
Yeah, I keep everything simple. I'm on multiple podcasts. I even have a podcast on my channel called The Next Podcast, which is every Saturday at 7. But what I tell people to do is follow me on Twitter. It's at Xbot448. I do tweet out the links to the shows when they go live and whatnot. And that would probably be the best place to kind of keep track of the content and the shows that I'm on. So it's at Xbot448. It is in the description below as well. And it was a great show, guys. As usual, I love coming here every Wednesday morning and talking gaming with the panel. And, of course, everybody in the chat.
Yeah, the chat is my favorite part of doing the show. You guys are all amazing. Creating Beyond Limits. Where can people find you? What are you up to? What you got going on?
YouTube, Creating Beyond Limits. Twitter, Dean5578. Mixer, Twitch, Creating Beyond Limits also. Recently done a Halloween video recommending some horrors and trailers to watch on Netflix if you're looking for something to watch. If I manage to get any time, I'll do the same thing with horror games. So hopefully I get time to do that.
You definitely got to do a horror game one. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully I get time. Halloween's like pretty close though. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. But you know what? There's always time because even after Halloween, people still play horror games because we're just weird.
I loved your top 10 videos for horror movies for Netflix. That was a good video. Everyone should go check that out.
I'm definitely going to check it out later. Mr. Boomstick, where can people find you and what are you up to?
Well, real easy is you can find me on Twitter at Mr. Boomstick XL. I tweet a lot, so if you hit the alarm bell, your phone's going to be blowing up. I have a lot of opinions. So you can find me on Crossfire on Friday nights at 7 p.m. with Xbot and the gang, and that's it for right now.
Awesome. It should be Mooch and the gang.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is Mooch. It is Mooch's show, but it's Xbot is here today, and.
Oh, 11:30, guys.
Sorry,
there's the alarm.
Sometimes it's like 11:31. I never noticed up until we did this show that it was at that specific time. That is so cool. And all right, I'm just making sure I got everybody. You guys can find me on Twitter at girlscangame22. Make sure you sub the channel. You know, and definitely follow me on Twitter for just sheer awesomeness. Thank you everybody for joining us today. It's been a lot of fun. I've seen a lot of new faces in the chat, so make sure you guys subscribe. Everybody hit that like button and go follow everybody at their links below. Thank you so much. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Thanks, everyone. See you.
Thanks for coming.